Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. We've seen sharp cuts across global markets and Dow was down 1.63% and the Nasdaq in fact was down 3%. So after a long time we are seeing back-to-back triple-digit cuts on the Nasdaq, and particularly the technology and the biotech names were down anywhere from 5 to 8% in the US markets. No other major data points to look at. Talking about the European markets, there again we've seen weakness of anywhere from 0.5 to almost about 0.6%. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Nikkei is down about 2.3% and Hang Seng is also down about 0.5%, and SGX Nifty is suggesting that we are going to open down about 35-40 odd points. In terms of flows, friends, FIs were net bias in the cash market to the tune of 341 crore. And domestic institutions were too net bias to the tune of about 11 odd crore. And in the index futures, we've seen FI selling to the tune of about 351 odd crore. Overall, the market has been quite resilient for the past many weeks, and we're seeing the better breadth and much higher volume in the cash market segment. In fact, in yesterday's trade, the overall cash market volume was close to about 19,000 crore, which is the highest that we have seen in the past many months. And we think that given the global backdrop that we've seen, also the fact that in the last about 45 minutes of trade, we had seen some kind of weakness in the banking and few other stocks. So we think that there could be a bit of a soft or negative bias for a day or so. But the overall momentum in the market and the strength is pretty much visible. So any dips or cuts you may see in today's market could be used as a buying opportunity, because certain stocks, particularly pro-Modi stocks, like banks like State Bank of India or Axis Bank, ICICI, Larsen Tobro, Maruti, these are the stocks where we think that there is going to be a decent upside even from current levels. So any possible correction can be used as an entry point there. On that note, let me invite Anup to take us through important F&O cues and ideas that we can have from the F&O side.
Now let's have a look at some of the derivative inputs for the day. Yesterday we saw Nifty trading mostly in the range and saw a late sell-off around 40 points in Nifty, in which Nifty fell from around 6870 level to 6800 level, and finally managing to close at 6825 in the post-closing session. Nifty cost of carry has reduced from 14 to 11, which is down 21%. Open interest has also got reduced, and the current open interest now stands at 1 crore 86 lakh 50 shares versus 1 crore 92 lakh 42,800 shares. Around 6.5 lakh shares were reduced in open interest. PCR has more or less remained flattish at around 1.12 levels as against 1.11. India VIX, that is volatility index, has gone up by around 6.71% and closed at 28.72 versus 26.91 on the previous day. Now as we move closer to the election dates and more and more election happens in phases, we will see this volatility spiking up, and maybe around 33-34 can be the level which we can see by in the next couple of weeks time for India VIX. On the most active index options front, 6900 as you see has added around 18% in open interest, whereas 7000 call option has shredded around 4% in open interest. This is mainly because of some profit booking which might have taken place in 7000 call option, or there might be a chance that the writing position has got rolled from 7000 call option to 6900 call option. It was surprising that 6800 call option didn't saw much of activity yesterday despite being at the money option. Most active index put options were 68 and 69 put options. As Nifty was for the entire day, most part of the entire day was closing above 6850. We saw some good activity happening with 1600 put option, where we have seen an addition of 115% in open interest with a huge spike in IV by 6.5%, whereas 6800 put option also added 43% open interest with 7.5% uptick in the IVs. On the SGX front, SGX is down 24 points, currently at 6785. If you look at SGX at 6785 versus 6825, which was yesterday's closing, it is actually down 40 points. Securities in ban for trade for today is L&T Financial Holdings and HDI. FIs in index futures were seller by 355 crore rupees. FIs in index options were buyer by 2,111 crore rupees. We had seen that in last two sessions, FIs and index options have added close to 3,500 crore rupees. That is the day before yesterday there was a buying of 1,400 crore rupees in FI index options, and yesterday there was buying of 2,111 crore rupees. FI in stock futures was sold by 354 crore rupees, and FI in stock options was sold by 38 crore rupees. On the levels front, our weekly VWAP is still at 6790, and the lower range for Nifty can be at 6770, and higher range can be still 6900, can't be ruled out. We yesterday closed at 6825. Generally, it has been observed that whenever Nifty goes towards VWAP level, it will either take support or resistance. At this moment, where it is trading above the VWAP level at 6825, it might take support at VWAP or slightly lower level from VWAP, that is 6770. That's all from derivatives. Thanks and bye. Have a nice trading session.
Let's look at the actionable ideas, news and events for today. In actionable ideas, we have a long call on Bajaj Auto, as the Maharashtra state government will be issuing about 81,450 new permits for the auto rickshaws, and the domestic three-wheeler market has been weak in FY14, and this development would provide a fillip to the sales. So one can go long on Bajaj Auto with a stop loss of 1981 and a target of about 2082 to about 2121. Strides Accolab, today morning we have a news that the company has got US FDA approval for antibiotic ampicillin injection. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 444 and a target of about 467 to 475. And IndusInd Bank, some negative news, as the FI limit has already reached about 49%. So further purchases cannot be made by the FI. So this could be a bit of a setback for IndusInd. So one can go short there with a stop loss of 522 and a target of about 496 to about 485. Now coming to the stocks with positive and negative bias, friends, we have a positive bias in the four stocks: State Bank of India, BPCL, GAIL and LIC Housing. So one can trade in these stocks with a positive bias for the day trading. And also Infosys, the bias is negative. We have seen most of the IT stocks remaining in weak territory. Also yesterday there was a block deal of about 10 to 12 lakh shares in Infosys, around 3,200 shares. So there's a bit of a negative bias for the technology stocks in today's market. Talking about the other events, friends, IIP numbers are going to be rolled out post-market today, and the expectation is that it's going to be about 1% against about 0.1% in January 2014. Also, Group Finance will be announcing their quarterly numbers, and the PAT is likely to be about 66.7 crore. In other news and updates, friends, Crompton Greaves has got order from the Power Grid Corporation, and Kane Energy has reported a much healthy growth of about 11% in the production from Jan to March quarter. So some positive bias for the Kane Energy stock in Crompton Greaves in today's market. And Jaguar and Land Rover reported 2.6% increase in the retail sales for the month of March in China, and also the Jaguar volumes were up almost about 19%, and the North American volumes too were up about 10.9%. Only Europe is the market where the overall numbers were not that impressive. So this could have some kind of positive bias towards Tata Motor stock. And Suzlon Energy, some positive news, as the company has sold 1,000 crore of non-core local assets. We've seen good momentum building up in Suzlon stock for the past few days. So this could also be an incremental positive news for them. And in other news, Natco Pharma has reportedly made a formal request with the patent office to block the Gilead's, so while the hepatitis C drug on the ground that it's not innovative enough. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great weekend ahead and see you on Monday morning.